Hi, I'm Dr. Rudy Cashman. I'm the Wellness Director, Lutheran Health Network. I've been doing this for about 2 or 3 years now. Before that, I was a neurosurgeon, about 44 years. Yeah, but most of the time, to be honest with you, I saw a lot of people, 80, 90% of them, who could have gotten well by speaking to them, teaching good health habits. So I started writing books about it. I probably have 17 books, writing 2 more now on Amazon Books. You can look at cashmanhealth.com is a good website. I've got a lot of old TV shows on there, all about getting you well by watching what you put on your forks, how you're using your fingers and how you're using your feet. And it's not that complex. But today's subject is very interesting. It's called sitting disease. It was written up by a book, Move a Little, Lose a Lot, by John Levine, Mayo Clinic, many, many years ago. But I think this could have been exploited a lot further because I really like the method that we could use this to get people well. And I explain it to you in detail and try to really put this point home. This can lead, if you do what I ask you to do, can lead to great health, looking good, for example. And they have found that sitting for 2 or 3 hours is like smoking 1.5 packs of cigarettes. Yeah, would you believe it? Would you believe it? Yeah, they've scientifically proven that. And what it does is that we have in our body about 300,000 miles of blood vessels, capillaries. And these capillaries, these tubes, blood vessels, the endothelium is 1 cell layer thick. And in there is an enzyme, and enzymes promote, they give the kick to metabolic activity. Okay? They don't have any calorie in them, but the LPL enzyme is in there. Lipoprotein lipase, when you sit for a couple hours, that enzyme gets turned off and reduces triglyceride and glucose metabolism 50%. 50%. And that causes a buildup then of fat in our body. And so this is what smoking also does, and has other effects in the body and other enzymes in the body. It result in weight gain, increase in chronic disease. So when you think back about this now, we're sitting a lot more at work. Some people sit all day at work. They never get up, are not moving around. We go in a long airplane flight. People are not getting up every hour and maybe doing a little exercise by your seat or wherever that you can. I fly anymore after an hour or maybe less. I'm getting up, moving around, do some yoga in the back or someplace, or some squats or things, this activity, just to moving. I did 2 TV shows in a row here. And I took a long walk and did some squats and some lunges and moved my arms, and boy, I felt a lot better. I said, well, have a drink of water. Actually, it's the exercise that made me feel a lot better. So it wakes up the enzymatic activity in your body. We're watching a lot more TV. We're watching TV. We get work, and then we come home and watching, 4-hour ball game, our team. Instead of playing the sport, we're watching the sport. We need to take the kids, go outside and play the sport. We need to shoot some baskets, but pick the exercise that you like. Maybe dance, do some dancing or some yoga activity. Let's face it, we have a sedentary lifestyle today. Many people have a sedentary lifestyle. I visit an Amish farm not too long ago, which I like to learn about other cultures. So I've probably made house calls in Amish a dozen times. Because I want to learn about their culture. I'm treating them. I speak German to begin with, a big advantage, and I want to learn more about them, about more of my patients. So this has been very interesting. So the last time I went by Lake George or so, and I I got myself in there because I said I'll make a house call to pull the stitches after a brain tumor operation. And 50 of them were waiting on me, and we had lunch together. And I'll be honest with you, not being critical and all, because all 50 people I looked at were physically fit. Every one of them. They were muscular, children, wives, husband. Everybody was physically and mentally fit. A lot of humor there, a lot of love there, a lot of religion there. We even sang songs. Remember, they pulled out the German Bibles and we sang some German songs together. But the food, to my standards, was atrocious. It was mashed potatoes, no fiber, pure sugar. The pie was pure sugar. Butter was so salty, it was absolutely delicious, but very unhealthy. White bread instead of the bread with all the kernels and the nuts and that we used to eat. Remember in Greece, the Mediterranean diet, the loaf of bread they used to eat weighed 5 pounds. Now you can lift it with a pinky. You see to me? The chicken was so fat I couldn't eat it. Fortunately, there was a dog down here, and while looking away, I fed the dog my chicken. So what's the point? The point is you can eat unhealthy food and look great, because they found, for example, that an Amish farmer walks about 18,000 steps a day. The average American, 3,000, okay? The average Amish woman, 14,000 a day, okay? And what's the point? They're moving. So you can, if you burn off your calories, it doesn't really matter that much necessarily what you eat. But we Americans are sitting around and we're not burning off our calories. We don't have very little activity of living. I like to call it AOL, activity of living. So the enzyme is turned off in the endothelium of the blood vessels. And we have a tremendous reduction in metabolism of triglycerides, the fat molecule that results in type 2 diabetes and fatty liver and fat in our body, the triglycerides. The metabolism is turned off. And only about, you won't believe this figure, but I looked it up, only 3.5% of the people exercise regularly. Yeah, you'd have guessed 20%, everybody 20%, 40%. They follow them around, 3.5%. Work out regularly. They had 9,000 members, yeah, big place, very reasonably priced. But only 10% of the people that tell me show up regularly. But remember that they signed up is a select group. So what do it regularly? 2%? I don't know. I just say I go there 5 days a week. And a lot of people go there trying to get their weight off. Some don't need it and you're just trying to shape up, but many of them trying to get the weight off, but it's going to take more than that, and I explained that to you carefully. 150 million people in this country are pre-diabetic, and in pre-diabetes, many of them can get vascular disease and strokes and heart attacks, increased rates of cancer. Breast cancer is 50 to 71% related to being overweight, so this gets to be critical. Pre-diabetes is where they're generally overweight, at least 10% or so, and the serum insulin is elevated, and the serum insulin is causing increased rates of cancer, vascular disease, strokes. The sugars combining with proteins, forming ages that deposit in the brain that cause dementia, for example. So we have 45 million people diabetic. I think it's going to double in 10 years. You sit down in a restaurant and look at the people coming in. And we got a problem, a big problem. Not to be insulting, there's lack of knowledge out there. They don't know. That's the reason I do these shows, trying to pass out knowledge. Most physicians are totally untrained in teaching wellness. The medical school is not doing its job. The medical school is not doing its job. I'll say it once more. The medical school is not doing its job. Teaching the young doctors how to teach wellness should be priority number one. David Katz wrote a book, most famous public health official in the nation, from Yale. 93% of type 2 diabetes, 80% of vascular disease, 60% of cancer can be avoided by watching what's on your finger, how you use your fork, and how you use your feet. Wow! Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. But the med school needs to teach it to providers. They need to teach it in nursing schools, PA school. Got to be number one on the list. It's not. And I know, I've been there. And it's upsetting. because it affects the people. They're going to go through all the suffering, all these illnesses. Matter of fact, I just learned about a friend before the show who lost his life over one of those habits. So unfortunate. Let's look at our daily calorie burn. This explains sitting disease a little better, okay? Let's look at our daily calorie burn in a day, okay? And 50% of it is the basic metabolic rate, your BMR, okay? That's the energy used up in your heart, your brain, your lungs, your muscles, doing nothing, okay? So who's got a bigger BMR that burns a certain set of calories? A bigger person, overweight person, a seriously overweight person. BMR is higher. The trouble is it's difficult to change that. So to use that as a mechanism of losing weight is not easy, especially suppose you lost 100 pounds. The BMR would drop drastically because through evolution, our body thinks it's starving itself, and the BMR will drop more even below than it should. And then they start eating again, changing their habits again, and the BMR will stay down there, and they'll get bigger than ever. So BMR, 50%, basic metabolic rate. Then we have thermic effect of food, okay? And that's about 20%, okay? I think it's more than that. It can be less than that. Depends on the type of food that you're eating. You're eating a very fatty diet, you lose only 4% in metabolism. The 96% of the fat will sit in your belly or your buttocks in 4 hours. If you oils, 100% fat, they'll sit on your buttocks or your belly in 4 minutes because they absorb so quickly. The oils you put in your salads absorb very quickly. They'll sit in your belly or your buttocks in 4 minutes. Wow. And so, but if you eat, say, 80% vegetable type diets, you include foods of color, but you include mushrooms and onions, which are very, very healthy because they're full of vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, okay? Fiber is complex carbohydrates, difficult to break apart. You lose 30% of the calories in metabolism. 30% versus 4, okay? Interesting. Let's take advantage of that, okay? Top it all off, vegetables are water dense, 50 to 80 to 90% full of water. So you urinate that out or lose it in your stool. When you eat a vegetable type diet, 80%, 70, 80%, I didn't say 100% is necessary. You're going to use up a lot of calories. Easy way to lose weight. You go from a fat diet to a vegetable way of eating, all you can eat. I never said you had to restrict the amount to eat. Calorie counting is not necessary because the nutrients, the phytochemicals, vitamins, and minerals in there will turn your appetite off. It's their mosaic, their symphony, their rainbow, their music of interaction that lead to good health. You can be very healthy, you eat like that, okay? So you lose a lot of calories doing that, and that can add up. If you say you're going to take in 200, 500 less calories, that's 20 to 50 pounds in a year. Yeah, calculate out 3,500 calories per pound in a year. Easy way to lose weight. You switch to the type of food you're eating, do nothing else. You're going to have major weight loss. Wow. Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Okay? Next, what in the Mayo Clinic they used to call NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenics, a little complex term. They own the word. They explained the rest and add a separate category for exercise. I'm going to not use a separate category. If you do, that's great. That's wonderful because only 3-5% of people are doing it. So the last 30-40%, I like to call it activity of living, AOL, activity of living. So if you can increase that, then you're going to have major weight loss without a lot of work. Be very healthy without a lot of work. You can turn the sitting disease around. What are things you could do? The list is unending. Walk the dog, go dancing, use the elevator, I mean, use the stairs instead of the elevator. Park your car far away when you go shopping. Say park the car far away, and once you get in the market, maybe walk around it 3 times before you shop for the things that you want. Take your time. But the more this activity of living you could increase at work, the easier it is. You don't have to spend an extra hour going to the gym, to a half-hour drive there, an hour to do it, and a half hour, that's 2 hours. If you could figure out, make a list, keep a little list at work. How can I improve my activity of living at work? Using the water fountain, maybe using a stand-up computer. When you stand up, you increase the calorie burn 3 times. If you're walking, 4 times, okay? Versus sitting. So if you could figure out the many ways at work, the lucky guy who works in the factory, who is very active, lifting things, walking back and forth, he don't have sitting disease. Man, he is really using his muscles, burning a lot of calories. I say to him, the lucky guy, versus the executive who's sitting at the head of the company, going to meetings every day, eating lunch at the best restaurants and dinner at the best restaurants, taking people out, promoting business. And believe me, I know plenty of executives, multi-millionaires worth millions, maybe even $1 billion, who are very unhealthy. And many of them don't know it. Some do know it, because I've lectured to them at some of these country clubs, for example, and they're doing nothing about it. Do you think nothing's going to happen here? Their lifespan is going to be contracted. Many of them, I'm sure, got prediabetes or diabetes, and the doctor did not run the 6-hour glucose tolerance test, just ran a fasting blood sugar, and they think they don't have diabetes. You're 10% overweight, you're pre-diabetic. Forget it. You're pre-diabetic. I think the testing is not strict enough. That's my major focus, really, besides teaching sitting disease, is to get companies to test the people very early, very early. Diabetes has got 5 stages to it, and we're diagnosed them with stage 3 or 4. Stage 5 is amputation, blindness, retinopathy, walking on your ankles instead of on your feet, dime a dozen. I see it all the time. Take a look at yourself. You're 10 pounds overweight. You may have sitting disease, and it's not that hard. We're not being critical here or judgmental here. This is a judgment-free zone. I'm here today. I don't have to be here today. I could be sitting on the beach. I'm doing this to promote good health. I'm a doctor. That's my job. My mother said, be a doctor. I think I'm doing that job, okay? So that we have this AOL, activity of living. Make a list, put it on the refrigerator, and make a list for the whole family. The children, are the children moving? What are the children eating? Odds are the children eating what you're eating. So you have to be mindful. You got to look at the food. You may say, it's in my genes. Well, it's in your genes, all right, but when I see whole families sitting down at a tabanaki table in a Japanese restaurant recently, their little children, their grandchildren, their grandparents, the whole family, everybody was seriously overweight. It was sad to see 6-year-olds with bulging cheeks and big necks and big bellies. And I'm certain that the head of the family thought it was in their genetic structure, that they got it from grandpa. No, it's a reaction of the bad food they're eating, and I unfortunately was facing them right there, and I'm not being judgmental, and I'm a doctor. Unfortunately, I can see the blood sugars, okay? Okay, I'm that bad. That I watched them, they ordered all the wrong thing. It may have been, it's not easy in restaurants or a good thing. But there are things in most restaurants. Let's face it, if we went to restaurants or fast food restaurants and we ordered good food and we did it enough, what do you think they'd be serving? Probably good food. Although I must admit, probably the fanciest restaurant in town, I keep reminding them, I wish they had some other bread. Not just white bread, that's sugar. Well, they're trying to kill me? That's sugar. And have some black bread as a choice, or some Ezekiel bread, or some sprouted bread as a choice. People want that white bread, that's their business. I'm not telling you what to eat, but give me a choice. And so bringing it up doesn't always get the job done. Okay, I agree that, but many of them would change. If we went to certain fast food restaurants with famous names and constantly ordered an apple or something, what do you think they'd be serving to us for too long apples? So we can't blame them totally. It's partly our own fault. But wellness teaching, I must say, is not a priority in most hospitals or physicians' offices. I'll frankly say it. It needs to be priority number one. Even after they develop a cancer, incidentally, 60% of breast cancer, 71% is related to nutrition. Yes, even if the cancer arrives, recurrence, they've proven scientifically now, recurrence rates will go down if they switch to proper eating. Macrobiotic diet, for example. You can read about it on the internet or my YouTube, cashmanhealth.com, resources, 80 TV shows on there to get yourself educated for free. And so it's very important to participate in our health care. I have about 8 things that go into wellness. Number one is you must participate in your health care. If you're just going into the office of a provider, unless you have a heart attack or broke a leg or something, and they hand you a script, you got to do this. Do some reading. Get on the internet. Seek second opinions. It's prevalent through everything, from dentistry to medicine to life in general. Even when we're buying a piece of furniture. Get other opinions. Gather some knowledge. Number one, participate in your health care. And this is what I'm trying to do, to give you knowledge. Even says in the Bible, Hosea 6:4, I think, we lack knowledge. We lack knowledge. Okay? And this is what I'm trying to get to you. In this nation, we have, like I said, 150 million pre-diabetics. They're 5 or 10% overweight. That's what's doing it. And you must gain the knowledge to maybe get rid of that, get the proper test. And we all suffer from sitting disease. Even I do. I quit neurosurgery 2 years ago. So, but I have more time now. So I walk a half hour in the morning, talk to the birds, sing them a song, and I work out at Planet Fitness an hour a day, play tennis at night, so I'm doing a lot of exercise. But I still feel I'm sitting around too much because I've been writing books and reading books. And occasionally, believe it or not, I get a little backache. As soon as I walk around, it's gone. Okay? And so count up the number of hours that you're sitting. Like keep a log. You might keep a log and kind of track your husband, the wife, the children. How much are they sitting? As soon as they come from school, are they out running in the backyard? Like I see some of my neighbor kids, they're just running and racing and playing ball. And I let them use my tennis courts and tennis court, and I'm teaching some pickleball and neighbor kids. And very active lifestyle, and you see the difference in the children. They look very healthy. They're happy. And then again, the other kids go home and they spend their time on their computer. So find out how long is your kid on the computer. It's under 3-4 hours a day. Some children are. There's going to be a problem there. And if their belly's expanding, they can develop type 2 diabetes age 5, 6, as a teenager. Half the teenagers, even some look thin, have elevated triglycerides in their blood. So get your blood checked. They'll say get a blood checked once a year, starting at age 35. Now it used to be 45. It's always moving it down. I say every year. I don't care what age you are, even children, because vascular disease begins at age 2. Franklin House wrote a book on that, and other pediatricians written books. Yes, starts at a very young age. And actually now what I know about epigenetics, that you can alter your genes with your lifestyle and what you eat and the environment when the child is even in the uterus, or even a bit parents before that, whether they're smoking, what they're eating can affect epigenetically. The telomeres on the chromosomes affect the child. You can see how important nutrition is the mother, the father, the grandparents. It goes back 2 or 3 generations, and they can have an effect in the early childhood in the uterus, what the mother is, what she puts on her fingers or forks, and whether she's exercising when the child is in the uterus will decide whether the child's going to be diabetic 20 years later, or 10 years later, or 5 years later, whether you will have cancer. Breast cancer, for example, which is related to nutrition, can be determined as a teenager. If they're eating a lot of fat, have a lot of weight on them, fat is in estrogen. If they start menstruating earlier, that increases the length of estrogen in their body, and that will determine the rates of breast cancer. So breast cancer, whether you get or not, can be determined as a child. Isn't that interesting? So increase your AOL activity of living, doing the dishes, walking the dog, use the stairs. I mean, there's a zillion things that you can dream up. If you're a truck driver, for example, you exercise the other leg while you're driving. I had a truck driver recently at where I work out. He said, "Dr. Cash, can you recognize me?" I said, "No." So you saw me a year ago, gave me a half-hour talk because I weighed 360 pounds working out there. So I'm sure I accommodated him and gave him a half-hour talk for free. And then he reminded me, then I remembered him. He had his semi parked in the parking lot because it was a weekend out there. And I taught him how to walk around the truck for 1 mile, how many times it took. We measured it. And so 4 times a day now he stops, walks around the truck. He's walking 4 miles a day. Today he weighs 192 pounds. He switched to largely a vegetable way of eating, 80%, not 100%, not necessary, which burns a lot of calories. He looked like a movie star because the genetic information in good food is called biomathematics, changed his body. He's beautiful now. And I have pictures of that on my PowerPoint on diabetes, cashmanhealth.com. You can see 3 ladies that lost 150 pounds. They look like movie stars. There's genetic information in good food that will rearrange your body like a flower or like a plant. It's called biomathematics, epigenetics. If you want to read a book on that, Deep Nutrition by Shanahan, it's all in there, and it's a fact. So get a computer desk, lift weights, play some music, watch ball games standing, walk around periodically, use the phone standing up. So eat maybe 80% high nutrient food, minimal animal foods. And so health equals nutrients divided by calories. That's Dr. Fuhrman. Health, eat to live, Dr. Fuhrman. Health equals nutrients divided by calories. You need to know the nutrient density of food. Steaks don't have nutrients in them, okay? Plants do, the phytochemicals that lead to good health. So in summary, improve your AOL, your activity of living. Make a list and look at every family member, and you'll be healthy. It's not easy. I mean, it's not hard. Just pay attention, be a little bit mindful. I did this talk here today because I love you, care about you. I'm Dr. Wellness. You can call me Dr. Wellness because the mayor has called me, Mayor Henry has called me Dr. Wellness 8 times now. I counted, and I appreciate it because he understands what I'm doing. I'm helping the community. We love you all. Watch my other shows. Look at our websites. Namaste.